Hello everyone, Chris is here, and today this is our second video on OCHOS, but we're going to be doing a little bit something more fun, something more experimental. Our focus today is going to see is looking at OCHOS from a necessity perspective, meaning instead of just looking at them as an important tango step, we're going to look at them as changes of direction. You're going forward, and for whatever reason, there's something in your way, and you have to change your direction using a pivot. And that's how you do a forward ocho or a back ocho to change your direction slightly and go somewhere else. So, with this in mind, we will see how the ochos allow us to move in space. I don't want you to get stuck because of an obstacle, just to focus on the obstacle and see how you're going to avoid it. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to use the ochos to be able to find space and move into space. So with this in mind, off we go. After you set up the obstacles, it can be chairs like I have here, or pillows or something else, whatever you have available. Just walk around them, just feeling the space, noticing how much space you have between the obstacles and how much time you need to pass them. And if you feel comfortable enough, you can close your eyes like you can see me do here. So when we close our eyes, the rest of our senses are heightened because we can't see. So you'll start noticing that you can feel a lot more your feet and your fingertips. You're always looking for clues, and it is almost it's strange because your mind is starting to create an internal map, so you can feel safe as you walk through. So if you feel comfortable, try it out. It's quite interesting. Okay, so we're going to be using the exercise we did last week, but we're going to put it in this obstacle course setting. So this is a multi-layered exercise. On one hand, it is good to practice with thinking the ochos not as steps. Forward ochos, back ochos is tango steps, which of course they are, but we need them. The reason why we need them in tango is because they allow us to change our direction and avoid bumping into somebody else. So that in itself is quite a valuable thing to work on, and you can make your obstacle setting tighter as you go. See here, I'm only using 4 chairs, but you can put more in there, or you can start with less and then add on to create more of a challenge. So on the first level, yes, we are working in a way to avoid the chairs. Now, on the second level, though, we are working, and you can see it more, you will feel it more when you're going backwards because you can't really see where the chairs are. You're working on your space sense of awareness. This is a perfect moment. So see how I bumped into the chair, and then I had to readjust my swing and then use my pivot. So touch in this case is information, gives us information of where we are in space. And this is another valuable skill to build on. Space awareness. So try on a second level not to think about how can I avoid the chairs, but instead to think about how can I move in this space defined by the chairs. So the chairs or whatever obstacle you're using, it's not a challenge anymore. It's not something you want to avoid. You're not building your movement based on the things you want to avoid, but you see them as points that define space. And so you see your movement, you perceive your movement through that space. It is a different way of weaving your way through this obstacle course, and it is a much more real. It's a skill that is something. It's a skill that you need a lot more on the dance floor. The reason being, the great thing about chairs is wherever you put them, that's where they will stay. And so it's quite easy to, plan your ochos around them and move in a way that will allow you to avoid the chairs. The problem is with humans, you can't really do that. You can't really predict where the couple that is now next to you or in front of you will be heading towards in the next second. So you can't really plan your dance based on how can I avoid my partners, but you can plan your dance based on the space you have around you. And so at, after you try it a couple of times and you start feeling more comfortable, try to take your mind away from the chairs, away from the obstacle that you have placed there, and focus on the space that you have. It's plenty of room. The last great thing that you get from this, especially if you decide to throw in a couple more obstacles as you go, is that you prepare yourself for tight dance floors. So what usually happens is when the space we have around us gets tighter, our movement gets more tensed. So that will be the last level. How can I go through this space, keeping my movement as smooth as possible? Focusing on the flow. Yes, maybe the movement needs to become smaller. But that doesn't mean that it needs to be more tensed. So you're working against tension and towards smoothness and flow.